Hey, this is John Bohlinger with Premier Guitar. We're at the CMA Theatre, which is in the Country Music Hall of Fame in Nashville, Tennessee, and I'm with Doug MacArthur, who is Steve Vai's tech. Hey,
That's
Doug.
right. Nice to meet you, John.
Yeah, pleasure to meet you. I got to hear about this. You get, of all the tech gigs, this has got to be a tough gig.
Yeah, the Hydra is, as an instrument, it's really stable. It doesn't really give me many issues, but I mean, there's so much surrounding it. The whole tour kind of rides on it because this is a big part of the show when it comes out.
Right. I mean, so is there a big reveal?
Oh yeah. I got a big, black scrim. It's a whole cool thing.
I've seen it online.
Yeah.
But yeah. Okay. So take me through the whole enchilada. What we have going on here.
Well, Steve's told the backstory about it, many times online. How he thought it up, how Ibanez created it. But I think it might be interesting for me to just kind of take you through it technically.
Sure, yeah, please.
And, simply, it's 4 instruments in one, a 12-string, a 7-string, a bass that's half fretless, and a harp.
Wow.
And,
and even this 12-string, the frets stop.
Yeah, it's got to be quirky.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, this is all quirk.
It's an interesting one.
Yeah. Okay, so how do you do it?
Steve,
get back there, Doug. How do you do this thing?
Well, so the signal all gets funneled into an Ethernet cable. So there's not, like 4 independent quarter-inch outs. It's a really streamlined kind of signal flow. First I should say, each instrument has its own, on-off, its volume control, pickup selector, and the harp just has a piezo strip underneath the fret here. It's really a fret. And it comes out through an Ethernet cable, and it goes into a brain. So each instrument then has its own, independent volume control.
Wow.
Which is on 10 all the time.
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
and
of course.
And Ibanez, they've made a few different versions of the brain. The first one was this enormous gold one that was in the music video, and it's so cool. We took it on tour, and then they made a smaller one that wasn't quite, right. And then they made me these little tiny, like half rack space ones that are just a dream, because I got a backup one. And because where are you going to find a backup Hydra brain in Nashville?
Or anywhere.
Or anywhere, yeah. So after it leaves the brain, the 7-string goes through his normal rig. It's still his, coming out of the 412s through the synergies. But the 12-string, the bass, and the harp go into the fractal, and they're modeled. They use modeling, and that goes to front of house. Huh. So that way we don't have to drag, 4 other amps on tour.
And there's no using pedals when he's using this
No,
guitar.
And I'll tell you a funny story, because everything's programmed for that song.
Yeah.
There's a lot of MIDI changes, there's pedals being turned on and off in the rack. And we were playing a show in, I think, Istanbul, somewhere in Turkey maybe.
Cool.
And the playback rig went down, which controls all of the changes, I'm like, I'll build the rig, it's bulletproof, but if the playback rig goes down,
Yeah.
And I realized, I'm like, I'm going to have to crouch down at the pedal board and do all the changes. It's like 50 changes.
Oh, God.
So Steve, he's trying to figure it out, and he comes off stage, and I go, the only way you're going to be able to play it is if I go out there and do it. And he goes, do you have them memorized? I go, yeah, of course. But I did, and we nailed it. And we actually kept having to do it on that tour because there were just gremlins in that playback rig. Yeah. But when everything goes right, which is now 100% of the time.
European power can be a little dodgy. I
always have, nowhere else in the world but Europe I have problems. No offense, Europe.
Yeah, no,
I love
you're
you.
Great. We love you, Europe. Yeah.
But during the song, he can't, because he's not wearing it.
Right.
He can't walk up to the pedal board, and who could?
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
Well,
this thing weighs almost 30 pounds.
And God, when you've got that much going on, who could think about pedals?
Exactly. So one of the things I did was I built this stand for it, which it's really great because it's easy to take the guitar in and out of. When I bring it on stage during the show, it's very easy to slip it in. You don't have to kind of dick around in the dark.
Yeah.
And this has been really great, because he can adjust it. I designed it really so you can adjust it totally 360 up and down. And
So did you like 3D print that or something?
no,
or?
I went to, there was a place in Burbank called Film Tools, and I bought this really great stand, and then I had to make all of these kind of custom appointments, like this is like a piece of military grade black plastic that I cut to the shape so that you can see through the harp. Because we did have a stand that someone built, and it was kind of like a sheet music stand that it rested in, and you couldn't see through the harp. You know,
Yeah.
you want to see more Vai.
Yeah, yeah.
And but then I built this call that you know, it's kind of rubberized, and it worked out really
Doug,
well.
that is really clever.
Yeah, it was.
Hey, so
Came out good.
what is the harp tuned to?
I have the tuning written down, but I will confess that I've memorized it. Every day when I take it out of the case, I just know.
You just
I have this little harp tuner, but like I was saying, I mean, this guitar is really stable. You know, some guitars you go to a different state, and depending on the climate, the neck is now like a banana. And the Hydra, I've had to make precious little adjustments to it. You know, in the year and a half that I've been, you know, touring with it.
Well,
it's a really stable guitar. Never, ever once have I had a problem with any of the electronics. Ibanez did a really great job.
Yeah. You know, it's funny. I remember, you know, Rick Nielsen of Cheap Trick had that like 7-neck guitar.
Yeah.
And I remember reading an interview with his tech years ago. He said, "God, that thing, it is a nightmare, you know, because it's so much to keep."
Oh yeah,
you know.
I bet. I'm sure you probably didn't have to worry about tuning the last 3 necks.
No, yeah. I think they were ornamental.
Yeah.
But he actually plays all this.
Does he really?
I mean, no.
Steve.
Steve actually.
Yeah, Steve.
plays
I mean,
all.
I don't want to play it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, when you watch him, I mean, God, before we start tours, he rehearses. You know, he just wants the Hydra to be so perfect. You know, he's a perfectionist, and it's so funny to go into the studio and walk in on him playing this thing because he's just so hyper focused. And yeah, I mean, it's the cool thing about that song is that it's a great song. The Teeth of the Hydra. You know, the song got released before the music video got released. So you hear it, you go, oh, it's got a beautiful melody, but then you
having no idea,
you know, and that's really cool because I don't think a lot of guitar players could really do that. You know, they'd get this in their hands and it would turn into a tech fest.
Yeah.
And Steve was able to craft this beautiful mellifluous body motion and melody out of it.
Oh, that's great.
And he'll probably write more songs with it, you know.
So it's got the whammy, but
It's totally blocked off.
Okay, blocked, yeah.
Yeah. Although, you know, it's cool is Ibanez made a bunch of custom steampunk whammy bars for it, and they're so cool. You know, some are like really exaggerated and long.
Yeah.
Other ones are kind of artsy.
Right. Well, God, that's what I've always kind of liked about his gear, like DiMarzio's new pickups.
Yeah,
they have that really just cool aesthetic. You know?
and I should give a shout out because Larry DiMarzio,
he's amazing.
He's the nicest guy on the planet. Larry and Eric Corpus at DiMarzio, they're the sweetest people.
Yeah.
They give Steve whatever he wants, and they're always willing to, you know, adjust and tweak things. They make all sorts of great custom cables for me. I mean, Steve's stage cable is, you know, 60 feet long. And I call him up, I go, can we get 3 more 60-foot neon green cables? And they're there tomorrow.
Yeah.
You know, and all the cables that I use in the loom, usually at the beginning of every tour, I rebuild the cable loom because it gets beat up, you know.
Sure.
And it's all DiMarzio. Speaker cables, pickup straps. Larry
Right.
DiMarzio is just, it's
He's
all
amazing.
fine.
Yeah, I think that he is much like Steve. He's one of these guys that is just driven by an intellectual curiosity and a creativity, and he doesn't compromise. And
He doesn't. And on top of it, he's one of the greatest rock photographers on the planet.
Oh, God, amazing. Yeah, amazing. He's
You could pay me later, Larry.
Yeah, Larry. Hey, Larry, big fans here.
I need those cables.
Yeah, right. Okay, well, this is a very cool start.
But I'll show you before we cut with this thing.
Yeah.
I want you to hit that switch.
This one? That? Yeah.
You could go have a bite.
Wow.
There's all sorts of little Easter eggs on this thing.
Yeah, man. I thought you triggered the apocalypse.
Yeah, that's when the playback rig goes down.
Yeah, right. Okay, that is you don't want to accidentally hit that.
You don't. I remember the first tour we took this on when Dante, Steve's rhythm guitar player, who's the greatest guy, again, on the planet, he was Dave Wiener's tech, Steve's old rhythm guitar player. And it takes two people to bring this out on stage. One guy comes with the stand and plants it, and I come out with the guitar. And I remember at the end of one of the songs, Dante accidentally hit it. And it was just so Spinal Tap. It was just, it was great. Because that thing, it takes a while to settle down. Okay.
And it is shockingly loud.
Oh, yeah.
I wish you people in YouTube land could hear this, because it was...
Yeah. Don't worry, you didn't just tune into the Oppenheimer.
Yeah, okay, that's very cool.